In my career, I've had the opportunity to teach business writing. And as someone who's always been inclined toward that view that education is to make you a better person, and who in my own education was always steered on the, the college prep track, the honors student track, and so forth, when you're on those tracks, sort of people tend to steer you away from classes like business. So that's for, that you're too smart to take business class or whatever. Well, one thing I've come to believe in life is that a lot of times, sometimes it's the practical courses teach us more. For example, you need to learn a lot about physics to study electricity, right? In theory, in the theory of liberal arts, the modern liberal arts theory, that is, general education or whatever, we say, you have to learn physics as part of your general education, so that when you deal with electricity, you know what you're dealing with or whatever. So the ways that physics comes into our daily lives, in theory, we study physics in high school and college so that we learn to recognize its rules when we deal with them in our everyday lives. On the other hand, there's a lot of practical everyday life stuff we don't learn, because if you're on a college prep track or honors track or whatever it's called, they tell you, you don't need to learn how to change a light bulb, you don't need to learn how to change a socket or an outlet or light switch. That's for, people who aren't as smart as you are. Well, there's a lot of smarts involved in doing those things. And a lot of times, because the people who are sent to do those things are the C and D students, they think it's really challenging. Where if the A student were just to consider it, it's actually a very simple thing to do. All right. But what's interested in me studying a lot of these sort of practical things out of necessity in my adult life is that a lot of them taught me things that I supposedly learned the general studies to learn, but I didn't understand then, When I studied physics in college, I saved my lab science for my last year because I was never a science person, and I saved my lab science for my senior year, and I took physics as a senior, and I had a 4.0 up through my spring semester of my senior year, and one of the things that lost me my 4.0 was trying to understand electricity when I took physics, okay? There's all these weird concepts that they teach you, well, weird to me that is, but complicated mathematical formulas and stuff that they teach you in physics about electricity that really have nothing to do with anybody's everyday life. But on the other hand, it would have been nice if they taught me to change the socket. Well, the same thing I've discovered in writing class, okay? We teach you the freshman English, this class, the 5-paragraph essay. And that in itself is kind of an abstraction. It's kind of something that we teach you to give you rules. Like, most cases in life, you're not given a word problem and told to solve it, right? Most cases in life, you're not given a page full of 1 + 1 over whatever, 2 + 2 line, 2 + 3 equals, where you are in elementary school. You're not given a worksheet, right? You encounter mathematical issues in everyday life, and in school you were taught how to solve problems on a worksheet to learn how to solve those math problems. And then you were taught word problems to teach you how to recognize the math in an everyday situation. And you were taught to build these different skills, and you were taught these different skills in sections to build them up and accumulate to a skill. Right? Well, it's the same thing in writing, okay? We break down the rules of writing into little segments so that you can master those little parts and then gradually bring them all together. So, in this class, traditionally, you're taught the 5-paragraph essay. Many schools, you would take 10 different essays, minimally, maybe an essay every week, and plus a research paper. And you do these exercises to teach you different ways of thinking, right? You teach a comparison and contrast essay, or a critical essay, or an argumentative essay, or a process essay, or a narrative essay, and all these different quote-unquote kinds of essays that are really just abstractions, okay? They're really just taking out a skill that you use all the time in your writing. Most writing is going to be a combination of those things, but we kind of set them off to themselves to teach you how to do that specific technique, that specific method of thought. And we set it in a 5-paragraph format for simplicity's sake. Keeps it short, 1 page, 1.5 pages. Gives you a very set format, so you don't have to worry about the length of the format. You just worry about the application of the ideas. The other reason we do the 5-paragraph format is ironic. It fits a sort of a pattern that kind of recurs, because should you get on to graduate school. In graduate school, the master's thesis or the doctoral dissertation are usually in a 5-chapter format that sort of follows the same outline as what you did originally in those freshman 5-paragraph essays. Well, what I've learned in my